welcome to Massive Beers. My voice made a weird noise there, like Peter Brady when he's going through puberty in the Brady Bunch. Anyway, welcome to Massive Beers. My name is Matt. We do the beer stuff here. Three of three. A little bit of buried Acorn up in this piece, courtesy of Drink New York Craft. If you watch the unboxing or watch the other beer reviews I've done of this box, you'll kind of know what I'm talking about. We'll give you a little bit of insight here. Drink New York Craft is kind of just a beer to your doorstep service. Not just in New York State, but they deal with just New York breweries. Then they send beer. There's a bunch of different ways that you can receive as far as packages. I believe, again, they're typical packages, like a 12-pack of beers to your house of cans, but they can do a mix and match. Here, what they did was they sent me 3 bottles of kind of like society kind of membership level beers from Buried Acorn, and this is the third of that I'm going to be reviewing. I'll probably post these 3 days in a row, maybe do like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday of it. Do like a New York Drink Craft kind of weekend out of it. But this is a very eclectic set of beers. We had this really crazy smoked lager. We had a barrel-aged porter, but we're ending with the most kookiest of the bunch. That be BSQ-22, if that means anything to anybody. Santa's Little Hupper, Batch 2, double barrel. Okay. Aged. Okay, that I should have said that with the other part. Mixed fermentation stout. Okay. That's kind of weird. Asian white oak and bourbon barrels. 14.1%. So, yeah, a lot of moving parts here. If you said this, again, if you said a double barrel aged stout aged in white oak and bourbon barrels at 14.1%, I would be like, that sounds right up my alley. The mixed fermentation part, okay. I'm not against it. I'm definitely here for it. But that throws a little wild card, little Charlie Kelly kind of wild card into the mix. Not a big hiss. So we'll see where the sucker lands. So yeah, we'll give it a hard pour. Didn't have a big hiss on it, so I don't know if we're going to have a ton of carbonation, if any, on here. And to be honest with you, not to beat on a constant, not constant, but more often than not, I do see a little bit of, actually, we've got a little bit of head going on here, so I'm kind of encouraged. Lack of carbonation can be a thing with Buried Acorn barrel-aged beers, so take that for what it's worth. Just news or science or whatever, observations on my side of things. But like I said, aggressive pour, ended up getting a bit of a head out of this, so I'm kind of encouraged there's going to be a bit of carbonation going on. So you're talking about a mixed fermentation stout. I mean, I've had my fair share, which is a lot less than just base stouts without mixed fermentation, but whether it be stuff that came from Belgium or just breweries that do kooky stuff, it's a really mixed bag. Sometimes you can end up with a soury stout, sometimes you can end up with just an overly aggressive carbonation stout, which can happen a lot of times at Mix-Ferm. Here, what we see is a stout on stout on stout. A bit of head going on, nothing too crazy. Dark as dark could be, looks pretty viscous, so we're off to the point of a oak and barrel-aged spirit stout. Looks the part, albeit slightly undercarbonated. But more I rile this sucker up, it looks a little bit better. So let's see if we can get a nose. Okay. That smells really freaking good. And I hate doing this. I absolutely hate doing this in somebody else's review. But I think, Tim from Buried Acorn be okay with this. This reminds me very much of a dry log beer. For those that don't know, dry log is a kooky madookie brewery. Now they're called Strange Roots. They're based out of Pittsburgh. But Dennis Hock was originally one of the owner, still the owner, but he had this small little place. He pretty much brewed his beers out of old milk tanks. Did all kinds of kooky, weird Belgian-based yeast, kind of funky, weird, awesome concoctions in beer. If you want to go back to my channel, just type in Dry Log, Drailaag, I believe is how it's spelled. Interview. I actually interviewed Dennis. I went down to Pittsburgh and we hooked up. He's a super cool dude. You can watch that for all the stories. But anyway, brain fart. He made a lot of Belgian yeast-based kind of stuff. And that's the vibe I'm getting from this, is just this kind of Belgian yeast, this little bit of more funky kind of yeastiness to it. But you're getting this rich, nice kind of chocolate maltiness. A ton of vanilla off the sucker. I assume that's from the barrel and the wood of the beer. And this soft little sweet little bourbon, nothing too hot, 14.1%, relatively decently hidden. And I'm not going to lie to you, the longer I let this beer kind of sit and the more I kind of shake it aggressively like a jerk, I think the carbonation on this might be a little surprising in a very good way. That looks pretty damn tasty right there. But rich, deep, decadent chocolate malts, dark fruits, vanilla, a little bit of that spirit thrown in. I'm here for this in a very, very lovely way. Man, that smells good. Let's dive in. Cheers, y'all. It is tart. It is very tart. I didn't expect for it to be this tart based off of the nose. It's a sour beer. Purposefully sour, I believe, based off of the mixed fermentation portion of the show. But based off of the nose, I knew it could go there, based off the mixed ferm portion of the show. But based off the nose, I thought I was going to get something a bit more level on the pH side of things, and a little bit softer, and maybe a little bit drier. Comes off sweet. Again, I think this is going to be a theme with these beers that were sent to me from Buried Acorn via New York Drink Craft, is that I dig on this beer. I actually think the flavor in this is very, very explosive and wild. I just think, let me rephrase that, I know people that would go gaga over this beer. Just stops a little bit short of that for me. Yeah. You get tons and tons of chocolate, tons and tons of cherry, a decent amount of vanilla. That spirit gives you this nice little pop, but it really does hit you with this aggressive tartness. I would stop short of saying aggressive acidic. There's a decent amount of tartness in here that just brings you immediately into sour beer mode, which is, again, well, I thought this could go in that direction. The nose didn't give me any portion of that show. Didn't lead me into that. Didn't give me any of the precursors of that big sour pop, or again, tart pop, I should say, more than anything else. Even though it is sour. Nice mouthfeel to it. Man, it is really expressively aggressive when it comes to the flavor profile here. I'm going to say this right now, and I do not mean this in a negative sense. I actually mean it in a positive sense for people that do dig on kind of sour stouts, because that's where I would throw this. It's giving me like cherry Robitussin vibes in a cool way. Again, I'm not saying it tastes like cough medicine. I'm just saying that tartness and that sweetness kind of back and forth with that cherry portion of the show gives me this like slightly medicinal thing. I know without a doubt 100% people would dig on this. 100% dig on this. And I think it's very, very, very fun, and I'm glad I got to experience it. It just, man, the Mix-Ferm stuff is a really hard thing for me to review nowadays. Not that I don't dig it. I really do. And I say this every time I review them now, so hopefully I'm not beating a horse that you guys are getting annoyed at. Mix-Ferm beers mean I have a high rate of allergic reaction. There's something about Mix-Ferm / more often than not foeder beers, which I think this might have been in. I have it's like a coin flip. I can have a allergic reaction. It's not like anaphylactic level kind of reaction to it, but it's enough to where it sucks really bad. So when I start drinking these beers and I get that immediate tartness that I associate with these beers that end up turning me into like this kind of antihistamine snob because I gotta gobble a bunch of them, I feel like a lot of times my body immediately kind of jerks back and like doesn't want to talk about how much I enjoy the beer because I'm waiting for the trapdoor to fall out from underneath me. Again, this is turning more into a blog than a beer review, but as far as like cool flavors, done well. Like everything here tastes really, really well. It's just you have to be cool with not having allergic reactions, and also that combination of a barrel aged stout base, but also in a tart sour component, and being absolutely 100% awesome with that kind of combination. And it really does come back to like some of the beers that I had from, again, not that I like talk about it, from Dry Log, in that I forget the name of that beer. I forget the name of one I'm thinking about. I don't think it was actually it might have been when I went down to visit with Dennis. They had a release of a beer, and I can't think of the name of it, and I think this is the one where it's reminding me of. Anyway, enough of that. Man, it's just a really flavorful, really bold beer that shows really cool flavor profile that I'm just a little scared of. So maybe it's my little scaredy hesitantness of this that makes me a little bit, again, hesitant. See, I'm doing that thing that kind of is me getting scared of being a little allergic. It's fun. I dig it. I don't know what else to tell you. Just the gobs of chocolate, cherry component. You get that spirit in there. Tons of vanilla. It actually ends up being decently dry after you take a couple sips, and then just has this really staunch, purposeful tartness to it that's got to be derived strictly from that mixed fermentation yeast, and ends up being a really kind of roller coaster flavor explosion of rich darkness that turns into that tartness that you don't typically expect. But if that's your jam, you'll dig this. So Mount Rushmore status on barrel-aged stouts, for me, no, but it's in the conversation of one of the funner beers I've had as late. Value and availability, I actually don't know what it would be if you purchased it from the brewery, if you could purchase it from the brewery, or if you got it through Drinking Your Craft. Hopefully somebody can help me out with that down there and leave you with, if you like what we like this, if you like Belgian stouts, Mix-Ferm stouts, those tart dry laggy stouts from back in the day, and you like that flavor combination, you'll dig this. So there we go. Reviewing the books. Hopefully you enjoyed. Buried Acorn. Have you been to the brewery? Have you had their beers? Have you had this beer? Your thoughts down there. Drink Near Craft. Have you ever used them? Are you interested in subscription? Any of that stuff. I'll put all the info down there. Hopefully you enjoyed a review. Hopefully you enjoyed a little bit of dark goodness, tardy goodness right now. We'll see you next time. Cheers, y'all.